All right.
Hey.
We're back.
Yeah. I will say it feels like it's been
A year.
It feels like it's been a very long time.
We've just been busy, and I don't know, some horoscope thing said we came out of some hellhole.
We came out of a hellhole. We came out of an astrological hellhole.
But now I feel like things have settled, and we're getting back.
I do have a tiny update. The hot mailman who everyone asks about, our angel baby beautiful boy, hot mailman, still as hot as ever.
Hotter maybe
because it's summer, so shorts are happening. And just looking like a fox, just looking like a babe, but now is very comfortable with us and is really opening conversations with us all the time, which I live and
Well, we
love.
found out that we have the same name.
Yeah.
And so now him and I bond on that.
Yes.
And then we've been very nice to him.
Yeah, we've been lovely.
And so he'll go out of his way to make like inside jokes with us.
And it's really very cute, but also I have a fun moment that I would like to share. Is the other day we saw him on the street and we were getting into our car. And he was like, "Hey, Andrew," and you were like, "Hey,
Andrew,"
and you turned into you turned into like a little baby schoolgirl. You're literally like, you couldn't talk.
I talked.
You did. No, you did great. You did.
Yeah.
You did great.
He wasn't even looking at you though.
No, he wasn't.
Just so you know, it was him and I, and you were just there.
I know. I'm just in this space when I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm out of furniture. I don't know.
He's like,
but truly,
hey, you too?
He's like, hey, he's like, how, great day. It's supposed to be sunshine. And you were like, it's sunshine.
It's good that I saw this. You are the sunshine. And he's like, what? I'm like, the sun you bring is incredible.
You light up my life.
Yeah.
And then we both blacked out and we both got in our car. But
he loves us.
I loved it because I just have never seen you. You hold your own so well around we've been around celebrities. We've been around like the hottest of hots.
He's like very good looking, very big, but also like he is like he's not what you expect him to do. And you don't know if it's like the small talk like he's at work or if that's like who he actually is.
If you're becoming a good friend.
Yeah. So I don't know.
No, I just loved seeing it because again, I've seen you hold your own with everyone.
A man in uniform.
Yeah. But you truly were like, ew.
Yeah.
It was like,
Should we hop it? What episode is this? 29? 20? I think so.
Honestly, I'd be lying if I say I knew, but I know that we're still in the 20s and we're not in the 30s, and that's what's important.
Yeah. And we're moving on with our lives, and we're excited.
That sounds dark.
No, but I mean, like, we're just getting through it, man. And I love, and people have been like reaching out, and they're like, thank you for literally inviting us into your homes. And
yeah,
it's like,
it makes me happy.
Yeah, and I know we've said we have plans, and we're going to do them, but we're going to keep getting them out. The episodes out to you, so it's like I'd rather get the episodes out than be like, we're gonna pause. Actually,
I pause and
actually we might. Maybe that might be the move. Is like we hit episode 30, we take like a week pause.
Oh wow!
And when things come back,
it's like new set,
new
this,
new guests, new hosts, new title.
Why are we? Wait, hold on. No, that's insane.
It's me and Hot Mailman, and we're talking about packages.
It's just called cheese. It's just called cheese, but it's like all bro-y. It's like super. It's like you got a bunch of like wood paneling behind you, and you both like Axe wipes are your sponsor.
Dude wipes,
and it's just called Axe wipes. Dude wipes is a hard get. I'm telling you right now.
Okay,
if you think you can get dude wipes, good luck, my guy.
Well, I don't know. He's a postal worker.
Yeah, I'm just.
I'll try and guess the weight of the packages,
but it's got like super shitty font. It's just like cheese.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the rebranding.
And then we just talk about like girls. And how butts they have butts and they have fronts.
It's failing already.
And
also, if you ever call it fronts again,
hell yeah. And they're cute, and we like to talk about the girls.
Okay. All right. Hey, cheese is not. It's gonna tank. I don't know. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't think
we're also gonna actually talk about cheese on that one.
Oh yeah, actually no, he's actually a monger.
I like string cheese.
Okay, all right, and I'm still gonna be there as furniture. Yeah, I'm just gonna be the Ottoman.
It'll be great.
I can't wait.
The Ottoman Empire. Let's just dive right in. then the camera zooms in, and then it goes right through my eyeball. It goes into my brain, and you see what I'm thinking.
It's just...
It's a mouse on a wheel.
Nope, it's a bag of ham in an empty space.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But it's the most beautiful ham you've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous
The lighting on the ham is amazing.
Okay.
It's glistening in the darkness. But the darkness is the darkest dark there ever was.
This is the worst Christopher Nolan film I've ever seen.
It's the hammiest ham.
Oh, yes, he's a hammy ham. Everyone just get into his illusion.
We filmed this on IMAX, 70 millimeter.
What a horrible mistake that was.
Hans Zimmer did the soundtrack. But it's his first silent soundtrack.
Of course Hans would do that.
No, did you ever hear about...
I played a lot with silence.
Did you ever hear... There's this one really pretentious but like kind of like hilarious piece that was written, and it was performed by an orchestra. Okay. You can look it up. I'm going to botch the title, but it's something like The Silent Symphony or like The Symphony of Silence.
Sure.
And so it's like, you know, the whole theater's packed with all these rich people in their suits and their furs and their whatevers.
Yeah.
They sit down. All the orchestra's there. They're in their tuxedos.
Yes.
They're ready to go. They have their sheet music on the stands. And then they all like pick up like their instruments. And it's like they're gonna play them, but they never like it's all the other sounds.
So all the sounds are gonna be like
a guy, a guy licking his reed. You know, like them tuning at first, and then like when they go for it, it's like all you hear is like the hand, and then you hear them each like switching the pages because they are following the music still.
Okay. I know you think this is pretentious. I gotta see it. I want to see it. I think it's kind of cool.
It goes on for like 40 minutes.
Okay. Nope. I'm out. I'm actually violently out on that.
Yeah.
Because then all you're gonna hear is like a bunch of old white men coughing. It's just gonna.
No, pretty much. And then like once in a while you'll hear like. Because like the clicks of the instruments as they're like playing the keys, but they're like not
it's
actually.
It's like the blank canvas art project where you're like, what this could have been, and you're like, I'm
like the first time they did it, hell yeah. And then after that, like
one song,
like when Duchamp like threw a urinal down, and he's like, that's art, and everyone's like, damn, like, but that was a whole thing. That was the antithesis of art. This was not like. This was like, this is high art.
Imagine spending so much money, because it's not like it's so much money to go to the silent orchestra.
So much money.
I love it. Only rich people do that kind of shit.
Oh yeah, and then that was the best part. It's like most of the critics were like, that was horrible, but the rich people were like, 17 minute standing ovation. And what is up with these standing ovations going for so long? Like
at Cannes Film Festival?
Yeah, at the Cannes Film Festival, it'll be like, Johnny Depp receives a 19-minute standing. And I'm like, listen.
Who's timing it?
First off, who's timing it? And second off, like, I have been to Broadway shows. Yes. I have seen Hamilton on Broadway, which I don't think deserved any standing ovation. But that's
you're
different
gonna get a lot of flack for that.
And that's fine, but I'm saying it. I've been to other shows that have gotten standing ovations. I've been to Grateful Dead shows.
Yeah.
Never in my life have I seen something more than a 30-second to 1 minute standing ovation.
Like a 2-minute standing ovation.
Maybe, but not like huzzah. Like it normally a standing ovation, and then it's grab our jackets and start. Like we're already standing.
My favorite thing about the standing ovation is truly that it is the like, okay, like. No, that's not true. Only like once in my life have I ever experienced something where I think it's so special and so amazing that I'm like, I'm on my feet. Yeah. I'm like, that was incredible. Yeah. You're amazing. It was Jimmy Fowley doing, he made the one woman show from La La Land. He did the entire show, like, because that was La La Land is so.
It's such a bad student film.
It is. It's a college thesis film. Yeah. We've already talked about this. So many people love it, and like, I know
the one thing that's annoying is that girl does a one woman show. No one shows up.
No one shows up except for a high end person that can cast her in and make her career. And you're like, as someone who's done one woman shows in Los Angeles. Never gonna happen.
No one has ever been discovered that way.
No,
and then the other thing is like the bits from the show were so insane that our friend Jimmy decided to be like, what was this?
And so he just made up an entire show, and it's just as cringeworthy as it was like in La La Land. It's just as insane. It's exactly what you think a one-woman show about a hometown would be.
Yeah.
And he just went as full force as he possibly could, and it was. I've never laughed harder in my life. I laughed like from beginning to end. By the end of it, like I truly felt like I was gonna throw up. I was laughing so hard, and that was one of those where I like stood up and I was like, "This is the best thing I've ever seen," and that deserves like a 9-minute standing ovation because it's so original. It's so weird.
Exactly.
He threw himself into it so hard that you're like. I mean,
same with Courtney Peroso's show.
Yes, 100%.
That was a good standing ovation.
Those all make sense.
A few like live theater performances.
Yes.
There was this documentary I saw a long time ago called See What I'm Saying, which was a documentary about deaf performers.
Oh, yeah.
And it was done so well. And it was the premiere. And all of them were there. So we did it, but we didn't even do an applause. We did like the sign language applause. It was amazing, but it was moving, you know?
Yes.
I wanted to learn. That's why when
I always think it's so funny when it's like, you're right, 9 minutes. I'm like, after minute
so
2,
long.
I'm like, guys, please. Like,
well, I don't know if it's just like that is the problem with Hollywood is like keeping up with the Joneses of like, well, he's standing, I'm standing.
Yeah.
And it's either that or it's just like they all are such money hungry monsters that they know like if we can just hold out 2 more minutes, this will make a headline. Johnny Depp just got a 9-minute one. We got to do a 27-minute
9 minute and 30 seconds. The one that they said it was like an 11-minute standing ovation for Spencer, which I liked, but I was like 11 minutes. Yeah. I don't know.
Johnny Depp.
I just have questions about it. That's all. I think it's
just a
weird.
long time to be standing and clapping.
It all feels like it's also another one of those gimmicky things where you're just like, yeah, that just feels like a gimmick.
I'm not going to brag, but I've gotten a standing ovation before, and they're amazing. They are. But if I had to stand there for 11 minutes and be like, okay, guys, like, please go inside. Like, I get it.
I've been holding my pee for so long.
Yeah. It was very nice I get it. The sentiment is.
Honestly, I feel uncomfortable.
Am I at my own wake? Yeah. Like, why are you doing this
That's
so
the
long?
truth. Just like, thank you. Yeah. Thanks.
So anyways.
It's a joke. Everything's a joke. I'm going to dive right into my. I don't know if this would be considered like a fondue camembert.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of both.
A little both.
We went to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
You have had the fortunate journey in life of your mother worked for Disneyland Parks, right?
Yeah, she used to do like merchandise buying and planning. So all of the, she didn't work on the park, but there's like a corporate office outside. And so all of like the jackets and the hoodies. It's like she's buying, you know, like nice stuff for the Anaheim store and like sleeveless, like whole stuff for like the Florida one. Ponchos. Send them to Florida. Yeah. So that's what she was doing, like merchandise buying and planning.
But because of that, you were able to
the silver pass.
I mean, you were able to be signed into
My mom was
Disneyland.
able to sign 5 people in daily, 24/7. I could get 5 people in.
That's insane.
And I went to school like 15 minutes from Disneyland. So I'd literally just be like, hey, do you guys want to just go to Disneyland right now? And my friends would go.
Yeah, of course they would.
Yeah, and we did everything. I've done every variation. I've seen every show. I've seen the president shows. I've seen
every ride.
Every ride. Yeah. I've done everything you can do at Disneyland.
Would you say that
illegal
you've gone...
and not illegal?
Would you say you've gone like 100 times?
No, I'd say I've gone at least 1,000 times.
That's a joke. There's no way.
I've gone...
Do the math, cheese.
Okay, so my mom worked there for like 15 years.
Okay.
I probably was going like...
4 times a month?
No, like 7 at least. Maybe 8 times a month.
Oh my God.
But I wouldn't go all day. Like sometimes I'm like, let's just hit Space Mountain and go.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah, because I didn't have to pay for parking or anything. And
she worked there for 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also... I mean, but I wasn't doing that. Let's just say probably more than 300.
Yeah.
Let's say 300.
I mean,
the
math is mathing that it is around 1,000 times, and that's insane.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't go anymore.
I mean, but it sounds so, that's such like a, that's why I don't go anymore.
Well, I'm not going to pay for it. I also like, am not a Disney adult. Like, I'm not. I was just literally like, I saw something that was an opportunity and I just exploited the hell out of it.
I mean, I would have too, but you've been 1,000 times. I've been 4 times.
Yeah.
I've been like, one was a Make-A-Wish.
Yeah. Which was awkward.
Which was, I mean, I remember it lightly. I lightly remember it because it was fairly traumatic, actually.
Of course.
But also because, like, quite literally, like, we'd be having the time of our lives and, like, on the teacups being like, yay, this is amazing. And then my brother and sister would look at me with tears in their eyes and they'd be like, we're going to miss you.
And you're like, where am I going?
Where am I going?
And they're like,
but I knew it was like special treatment because of my surgery. Because like it was a whole.
But they didn't tell you like this might be your last hurrah.
I mean, you know, you kind of know those things. You just do.
We never went to Disneyland before. My parents couldn't afford Disneyland.
And all of them are like, we're just doing this for you. And you're like, okay.
Whatever you want.
I do think it's funny because I think people give kids a lot less credit than it is truly there. I mean, my parents were very open and very honest about things. But literally it was like, you know, they didn't say like, hey, you have a 2% chance of living.
Yeah. No.
But they did go like,
they'd have to explain percentages.
It's so exhausting. Math at this age? No,
Listen,
just the heavy grappling of the concept of death.
Yeah. We haven't even told her about that yet.
Hey, but I knew.
No, something's wrong.
Hey, wait, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Am I dying?
Yeah. Why is the mouse crying?
Why does Mickey just keep bawling?
Yeah.
We got Gaston. He's in tears.
Yeah.
No, but I just remembered because it was like a whole week long trip. I went to like SeaWorld. I went to like San Diego.
Oh wow!
Zoo.
You did the farewell tour.
It was the farewell. They did not anticipate me kicking it.
Yeah.
I just remember like that was my memories of it. Was like a pretty ruthless like. I'd have really great moments and we'd be like watching the World of Color, kind of a yay. And then like literally every time I'd just turn and Jake would just be like, and I'd be like, okay.
I get it. If I had to go to Disneyland with you knowing it was probably your last time, it would be real hard. Yeah.
It's hard. It's a tough thing.
Yeah.
But I just remember like that was one of my first memories. So, you know, trauma.
Yeah.
And then grad night. And then I think I've been like, maybe 1 or 2 other times with like my family, but there was always a very small child involved, and so you can't really experience Disneyland.
Yeah, the last time we went with you was with like our niece, and she was like a child, and so she's like, we're going on Ariel's Grotto 14 times,
1,000 times.
And then we're going home.
Literally, we just switched out. We just did Ariel's Grotto the entire day, and
tag team.
No one could say, "Hey, we're not doing this anymore," because she'd be like, like, you know, it was that whole.
Yeah, and so for me, it's like I take it for granted that I have been so many times because I know like the weird exits. Like my mom would take me in. Like I used to be able to go into Toontown and open a door and like walk under the ground and then like show up in Tomorrowland.
People are gonna be so jealous of that, and you just need to know that that is one of the most beautiful privileges of your life. Is that you got to have.
Until they laid my mom off.
Okay, wow. Oh, here comes the heartbreak.
But yeah, so neither my mom or I will pay for it again because it's so expensive, and we did use it a lot. But I got that knowledge in the old ticker.
Yeah, you are a Disneyland map, and that's just the truth. But I hadn't been in like 6-7 years at least.
Yeah.
So we got free tickets. We went to Disneyland. I was like, let's do this. But there was a child involved, and we knew there was a child involved. So
when I know there's a child involved, and I know that the tickets are free, in my head I go, okay, I'm not going on any rides, and that's okay.
You just know that you're like, this is for the kid.
My goal was just to see Disneyland through a child's eyes. Like that was what I was going for.
Sure. And
it turns out, yeah. I mean, my first time at Disneyland was similar to that because it's like, I think I was 5 or 6 and I wanted to like go with one of my friends, but my family wasn't working there at the time. So they had to buy all these tickets. So it was my dad, my mom, and my sister who I'm trying to be cool. Like these are the least cool people ever. And so I'm like, I was a little sad because I was like, why didn't you let me invite my friend Grant? And they're like, because we couldn't afford it.
Because it sounds expensive, you little
and so
shite.
The first time you go, it's always overwhelming. You get tired, your feet
I think
hurt.
that's what happened with this. When we went with the children, they were like, and it's like so much overstimulus. It was outrageously crowded.
Yeah. Oh my God. I have never seen it.
I've never seen it that crowded in my life.
And the wait times.
I was getting like a little overstimulated. I was like, I'm just gonna go and get into some weird Mark Twain area.
Yeah.
Just because it was very overwhelming.
Well, the other problem with Disneyland, especially like when I go, like when I would take people, normally it's like, I'm gonna lead the way. Follow me. Here's the strategy.
But when there's like 9 people.
And also like they pretend that they're low maintenance, but they're all like have opinions, but no one wants to make a decision. Yeah. So it just becomes
could we eat? We could eat.
Should we eat? Do you want to eat? Does everyone? I want to see the tiki. Do you want to see?
Do you want to see?
Okay,
I would love to do that.
I'm going to go over here and then I'm going to meet you. I don't want to
do any of that stuff.
I don't want to do that either.
Okay.
We should go.
Yeah. That's exactly
and it's
what
like,
it was.
What do you mean go? It's 2 p.m. We're going to go. It was fun.
Honestly,
it was
had
long.
a blast.
I'm so sorry that we're leaving.
And we all were like,
it was so funny because sadly they did have to leave at 2 p.m. And I was like, don't you even worry about it. And so the minute they left, you, me, my sister, and my mom.
We just partied.
Yeah.
It was a party.
Because I surprised him by flying my sister out from Chicago.
Yeah. That was fun.
It was just a really nice time once that happened.
Yeah. I think it was like, honestly, again, it was different with kids. Yeah. I will say, I'm going to get flack for this, but I don't have children, so I can say that. Yeah. But it is a weird thing. Experiencing it is completely different. I'm like, I would literally, if I went with kids now and I had them, I would be like, one day is for the kids. Yeah. The next day, I'm going with my husband alone.
Totally.
Like, I really would, because you just get to like, there's so many adult rides, and I'm sure it's going to get like better as the kid progresses and can go on those fun rides and can experience that. But
I also do.
It's a lot of shit for a kid. It's like so overwhelming.
Oh yeah. I also think that it is like, in a way, if you want to see every single variation of what a human can be or look like and every variation of family dynamics, go there. Because it is like some of the families, it was like they were kids that were small, but they trusted their parents.
Oh, they were so lovely.
They were going on all the rides. They weren't afraid. They were having like the time of their lives. It was like, that is the movie.
We said that because we saw a couple of like kids that we both of us were like, oh, this is a fun little exploration of like birth control. Because you just like see every kid is like having their own personal meltdown. Every family is literally like, I said to pack this, and you're like, oh,
I told you. It's either that or it was like that they were absolutely like having that beautiful
or it
moment.
was like this family that was like laughing and dancing in line together, and I was like, oh my god.
And like the dad's holding them all selfing, and they're all like, we love you, daddy. And you're like, oh my god. Yeah.
They're like, this is a magical place.
I'm glad you made it home safely from overseas. You're like, what is that? Yeah. And they're having
a kid that literally was like sitting there, and he was like, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. This is so great. And I was like,
and then there was another kid right next to them like, the tiara is ugly, and throwing it on the ground, and you're like, oh,
all right. No, it is like a real exploration of like, if you're on the fence about children, just go to Disneyland for a day and be like, can I
check
do
it
this?
out? But for me, the problem was like then like the one family that was doing it right was enough for me to be like, all right, I could get it, but every other family was like having a horrible time. But one family, I'm like, that could be mine.
You know what? I can do this. Easy tap in.
It was crazy. Like normally when I would go to Disneyland, like the waits
on
were
one of the 1,000 of times that you went to Disneyland.
Normally the waits weren't that long. We went midweek. And the waits were over 100 minutes for the rides. Yeah. It was the last day. Splash Mountain was in order.
Splash Mountain is being changed over to like Tiana's Palace
and Marketplace. Tiana's Marketplace.
Yeah, it's Tiana's Marketplace is the square, the New Orleans square, but it's going to be like a Tiana like from the Princess and the Frog ride. And it's, I mean, duh, like it's already New Orleans square. You don't have anything.
They're not
going
to change the ride. They're just going to change the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, they are. And so, but everyone was like, it was the very last day that Splash Mountain has ever existed in the history of our lives.
Yeah.
And like people were like wearing like t-shirts
the last
that were like
splash.
Yeah. And like people were like waiting in line, like right outside you can see the drop of Splash Mountain.
It was insane.
And people were like lining up, videoing live streaming it. It was so weird. And at one point, because we both were like, oh, do we want to go on this? Like, that'd be kind of fun to just do it one last time and yada, yada. And it was like 100 minutes. And I was like, that's way too long to wait for a ride. by the end of the day.
By the end of the night, 11 p.m., the park is closing. It was over 280 minutes.
Yeah.
I took a picture. That was 4 hours, right? Is that the math?
I think so.
4 hours starting at 11 p.m., meaning at like 4 a.m. you're going on this ride.
Close the ride down?
And listen, I've been on the ride a lot. It is fun. It is a classic. I'm going to miss it. But they're not going to change the drop. They're not going to change the ride. They're just going to change, like, they're going to add.
They're just going to get rid of the inherent racism within
exactly.
the ride.
If you've been to Disneyland enough, you know, like, they never really, like, crazily update the ride unless they change a land. But even, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean's closed for 2 years, so we can add it. And then you show up and everything's the same except there's like 2 Johnny Depp guys.
Except they're no longer selling women.
Actually, in one of the scenes, I caught him. They're still the guy's women? Still chasing him, but he's not selling her. He's chasing her,
good. All right.
But
I do think it's funny because they just were like,
4
and people were
hours.
Like devastated. They were like, I can't believe it. And I was like, I can. I can absolutely believe that they're going to get rid of this heap show.
Yeah, it was racist. It was zippity doo-dah.
No one even knew
it's from
what
a movie called
from.
Song of the South, which you can't find it anymore. You can pirate it, but you can't find it.
For the right reasons.
Yeah, I downloaded it in college because I needed to know, and it's racist. It's not like blatant racism, but it's like the worst racism where it's like, what? That's how it was.
This is what it was. And you're like, oh, okay.
He was Uncle Remus and he lived in... Yeah, you're like...
No, and everyone was just like, okay. But I just thought that was I'd never experienced that part of it, of like people truly like crying and being like, it's the very last time. And I'm like, like... It's okay. We're all okay with this. That's insane.
I get it. In the sense that, like, okay, we'll never see those weird chickens doing the can again.
I think we move on.
Yeah,
I think we all can move on just fine. But that was a weird thing to be a part of like, oh, this is the very last day. And just whatever the Disney adult lore and like these people that were like so intense about it.
One of my friends was there and he was texting me. He's like, I want to be the last person that rides Splash Mountain.
Yeah.
Didn't happen because once the line got like that, he's like, screw that.
4 a.m.
I'm just gonna take my fast pass.
Thank you.
But that was crazy. I will say that like once it was you, my mom, and my sister and me, that was one of like the most fun times I've had at Disneyland.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Well, because my sister, my mom, and I, we know it really well. Yeah. And we got to share that with you. And also like the 3 of you are some of the most important women in my life. My mom has this crazy need for adrenaline. She does. She's not afraid of any of the rides. So it's not like we just like hit them all. Like we hit the crazy roller coaster in California Adventure that like is scarier than most. It's like it's called a gondola and you're on a Ferris wheel, but like the cart moves on a track.
I don't know. I was fine with it after the fact, but like as we were going through it, I lost my voice because I screamed so loud because I was like truly. It was like one of the scariest things I've ever been on, and I've been on. Like I go on roller coasters. I don't mind.
That's one of those rides that like. You don't get to go on it that much because people are either terrified or they've been on it once and they're like, never again.
Yeah, I went on, I'd never been on it. And it was just like a really weird, it's a Ferris wheel and there's a little gondola, but this gondola moves back and forth, swings.
It feels like you're going to fly off the Ferris wheel. It feels like you're flying
off a Ferris wheel. And also, you're not strapped in or anything. So you're just kind of like, here and I was like, so I've never screamed dude, it was that loud in my life.
We were laughing so hard.
I was losing my mind because I was like,
like that's the best part about that ride is people go on that ride thinking, oh, it's a Ferris wheel, and so they don't think it's gonna be scary, and that's the best part of that ride. Like you'll see grown men being like, I need to get off the ride.
Fully. And also the weirder thing of like it's like, I don't know how they even figured this out, but like you're in the line and you're like, oh, this is fine. This looks cute. A little Ferris wheel, a little Ferris wheel. And then when you get underneath it, you just start hearing screams.
Yeah.
And it truly sounds like you're like, oh, is someone being tortured at the top?
It's amazing.
And it's absolutely terrifying. And then they're just slowly going around screaming. The whole thing is just like a cyclone.
You feel like you're going to fall off.
Yeah.
Anyways, I love it. Also,
had a great time.
Even though I hated it for a moment, I've been like working through therapy and whatever to like not like to see the positive and things.
Of course.
And once you can change your mindset, it does become a lot more enjoyable because we were also there and it was grad night.
Oh yeah.
So there are all these dumb high school kids wearing the dumb stuff we wore when we were young, and they're being dumb high school kids. And at first I'm like, I hate these kids, but then you look at them and you're like, this is hilarious, because I'm like, they're not gonna make they're breaking up tonight. This is their last night together. She's like, I'm going off to college.
They've never been together. This is just happening
they're hooking
right
up
now.
Yeah.
This is
maybe a grad night. Yeah.
Maybe a grad night.
No, but that's
kiss.
Yeah. That was the other thing too. Like, you could tell some of like the girls were like, yeah, well, I'm going off to college, like on the East Coast. And it's like, yeah, but we'll make it work, babe. We'll make it work. And she's like, I don't know. I don't know if we will, Ryan.
No, there was like real conversations that were happening, and both you and I were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm excited to do long distance. And you're like, oh,
I think it will just.
And she was like banging, and he's like,
yeah.
And I'm
They, like wherever high school they went
Dylan,
to. Yeah, this is it, bud. Enjoy your night, bud.
Dylan, have a great grad night.
And the girl,
it was tough.
The girl who was working the ride, the gondola ride, she was hilarious and giving us all the inside scoop, because she's like, we're actually closing the gondolas right now. And we're like, why? And she's like, well, it's grad night. We close all the rides with no cameras so the kids can't try and finger blast each other. And you're like, Jesus, are you allowed to say that to us? She's like,
she knew what we were.
Yeah.
It was great.
But no, I know it was perfect. But I was like, oh my God. But
it's the truth. I didn't.
Babe, I'm gonna try and kiss you tonight on Pirates. You know?
And there's no cameras. God, they swerved me again.
I remember being that kid who's like so awkward, and I had no moves, and so like, there was no reason to organically kiss the girl that I wanted to be there with, but you're in your mind. No, because it's like, but you build it up, and so it's like, I'm going to make my move on the bumper cars or something. And then like, right, you go in, and then like Grant slams you, and you're like, dude, I was going to make my move. And then like the whole night you try, and then you never do.
I just remember, because I'm not really a reminiscer of like whatever, but I remember truly like, there was the weirdest like connections on grad night. Like literally you're like, Ian's making out with Cameron, like
one last
all
night.
These weird things that you were like, what is happening?
We weren't allowed to go to Disneyland for our grad night because apparently like a few years prior to us going, like some people hit a bunch of booze on Tom Sawyer's Island. They got hammered, and then they lit Mickey Mouse on fire. That was the rumor, but we weren't allowed to go, so we had to go to Dave and Buster's for our grad night.
I just want to say thank God you made up for going 1,000 other times in your life.
Yeah, but I didn't get to go with my friends.
I'm just saying, you treat it like you're like, ugh, Disneyland again, and then people have like never been.
Okay,
and it's like
not
a crazy
my
thing.
problem. You know,
oh my God.
Some people have been.
Oh my God.
Some people have been to a lot of places. You know,
I'm just
people
saying,
that live in the Swiss Alps, they go to the Swiss Alps every day. Okay, and I don't get to go every day. I've only been once or twice. I've seen them. The best.
Oh wait, you've already been to the Swiss Alps?
Yeah, of course.
Shut up.
No, the best was when my Swedish cousin, when we took him to Disneyland. And it was so funny because, like, the Swedes are so, I love them, but they're so
pragmatic.
Yeah, matter of fact.
Yes.
And so, like, my mom has not, we hadn't been to Europe yet as, like, a lot. Sure. We had been, but not a lot. And so it's so funny because my Swedish cousin is like, this is the Matterhorn? And we're like, yeah. He's like, this is not the Matterhorn. And I'm like, what? He's like, I've been to the Matterhorn.
Okay, got
like,
it.
Yeah, and he's like,
cool.
He's like, this not looks like Matterhorn. And I'm like, that's hilarious. Because like,
it's obviously not going to be the Matterhorn.
No, but we have no clue. Like to us, we're like, that's amazing. There's like these guys in lederhosen.
And he's like, no,
I've been to Matterhorn. This is just tiny mouse.
This is not great. I do not like it.
Yeah, that's a bad
It's
Swedish
my favorite
accent, but
of
it's
that.
hilarious.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just saying, my camembert was that it was like absolute mania. And children.
And Indiana Jones is broken down the whole day.
I just want to say, figure it out. I've never been when the Matterhorn's been open ever in my life.
Well, it's under construction now to put an Elsa in there, so you missed that.
That makes perfect
sense.
Yeah. And then my fondue is just that, like, when we did get to break off and just be us.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say this.
Star Wars
as
Land.
an adult, Star Wars Land made me teary-eyed. Yeah. Because I love the Star Wars universe. I love everything about it. I've seen every film multiple times. I even was like the weird kid that read all those weird like conjecture books about Star Wars, like weird things that people wrote in the 70s, and they were like this thin book, and I was like, it was before fan fiction. It was like just like a weird, I don't even know how George Lucas let him get
take.
I mean, it was like weird things that you're like, how did he get away with this? And it would just be like one-off little stories about Luke Skywalker and weird things, but I loved it. But walking into Storesland, which I hadn't done before.
Yeah, it was cool. I hadn't been there yet, so that was cool.
That was one of those things where I was like, oh, I could cry right now. It love this.
It looked cool.
It looked absurd.
The ride was fine. We didn't go on the other ride. I mean, it'll get better as it goes, but like the land and the decor,
it is truly like you're transporting into it. Yeah,
it was cool.
It's kind of bodacious.
You got recognized, which was cool, and she gave us a lot of the insider tips
really
on what
sweet.
to do.
That was so nice.
Yeah, it was so fun.
No, I loved it.
We saw Baby Yoda.
I will say the only thing I wanted, and I have an idea, and people are only gonna know this a small bit, but look, I gotta say, we got Tiana's Little Palace. We got to get rid of the Winnie the Pooh ride. That's got to move somewhere. And Hungry Bear Cafe, no longer do you need Critterland. I think you take Hungry... Listen.
No longer Critterland at all?
Because you're not doing Splash Mountain.
You're going to. They're bringing it back for...
It's Tiana's Palace now. It's part of New Orleans Square. Well, listen. Okay, we move Winnie the Pooh somewhere. Wow. That weird Winnie the Pooh ride does not belong there. It's just weird and creepy. I don't understand it. Okay? But we take Hungry Bear Cafe. It's already lifted. It's already in the trees. That's an Ewok cafe. Oh, wow. You got to put Ewoks there.
Well, Hungry Bear's been there a long time, and
I don't
people
care.
like it.
It's now Ewok Cafe, and I want Ewoks. That's the only thing I needed. That's the only thing I wanted. It's going to be
hard to cast.
Nope, it's not. Even if it's like a little bit bigger. I could be...
Or babies.
Okay, can I say this?
You could be a good Ewok.
I auditioned, back in the day, for like Disney princess things because a friend of mine was like, hey, I get paid so much money.
Wigs,
you would easily do this. While I was in college, I was like,
who would you have been?
I, as 5'1" or 5 3/4, I can only be Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's like character limits. Like everyone else has to be like 5'6" and taller. And
I heard all about it in college because one girl's sister, she got wigged and she wasn't even an actress. And
wow.
It was a whole. And she's like, but it was my dream to be Alice, and then my sister is, and it was this whole thing.
You're gonna be all right.
No, she's not.
But
she didn't.
You can't be like as a 5 feet tall person. You can't be anything other than Alice.
Yeah, exactly.
Some other girl got Alice.
Yeah, of course.
That was okay. I moved on.
And then
from
the
that.
Johnny Depp guy was just too
he was
much.
A weirdo.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying there are plenty of people that you can absolutely cast as Ewoks.
Oh yeah.
That are like my size or less.
Yeah, there you go.
And I live for that. And all I want is that But then I thought I was like, oh, there's going to be hugs. But you hug Mickey too. I just needed an Ewok. That's all I needed was like Ewoks in that. But I feel like if you transition that little Hungry Bear Cafe and then all those trees.
We saw Boba Fett. He was hilarious because he was just being a D-bag to everyone.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Anytime someone's like, selfie, he'd like hit their phone out of their hand.
I want that job.
I was like, hell yeah, that guy's tight.
Not no.
That was cool. And also for me, one of my favorite moments of it was like, I just assume everyone's been on all the rides.
Yeah, because you've gone 1,000 times.
We get it, but like I'm at least the hits, and so so like we're leaving. My mom and my sister are like, see ya.
We're tired.
Yeah, and we have time for one more ride.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, well we can't do the Splash Mountain because it's 4 hours long. But maybe we could hop on Space Mountain. And Leah's like, yeah, cool. Star Tours. And I'm like, wait, what? And she's like, Star Tours. And I'm like, no, that's not. This is Space Mountain. And I explained it to her.
Know.
It becomes, as we're in line, she's like, wait, what is this? And it awesomely becomes very clear very quickly that she's never been on Space Mountain.
For those of you that don't know, apparently that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's like the best ride at Disneyland without any contention. Like everyone is like, if you like it's one of the best roller coasters.
Yeah.
It's in complete darkness.
It was
You're flying
really cool.
through the sky.
On this one, they did it was like
Star Wars
Star Tours. So it really
Hyperspace
was like Hyperspace Mountain.
Yeah, so they do like, they switch up some of the rides at Disneyland sometimes. So like the Haunted Mansion will sometimes be the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
So they made it a Star Wars one. So it was awesome. But it was so cool because you had never been on it. And it's like the last ride of the night. You would have remembered it.
I would have remembered it.
I asked the guy, I was like, can we sit in the front? She's never been on it.
Yeah.
So we sit in the front. I got the wave from the person in the command center, which is always my tradition to try and get away from them. And it was just an awesome way to end it. And it was
like a full blast. I do think as I'm getting older, Space Mountain one time and my neck is still like, ow. Because, you know, you
kind of have to go limp. You can't try and stay tight.
It's
if you fight it,
I had a great time. I had a wonderful time. I will say again, I just think that everyone should go without their kids. It's simple. I feel like I sound so mean saying that, but I'm sure it's also depends. So special.
I guarantee you,
children.
The people that have kids that enjoy traveling with kids,
you're gonna have a great time.
But for a lot of people there, it seemed like they hated it.
That did seem like
but that's how it feels at Yosemite. That's how it feels anywhere.
It's
not just.
It's overwhelming. Anywhere
if you have kids and you're not in control of those kids, and those kids actually control you, it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. But I had a great time. Space Mountain, 10 out of 10. Yep. Would do again.
Yep.
I will say solidly.
Yep.
And this is for the random 4 people that are going to be planning their Disneyland trip.
Yep.
Do not ever skimp on the churro. Do not ever skip the corn dog. These are the 2 best things in the Disneyland area. People would say otherwise.
She's been 4 times.
I'm just saying. I've been 4 times, and it's pretty impressive.
Those were her favorite things.
Double dipped corn dog, baby. I would.
Listen, you go on your birthday. You.
I'm saying is, I would have done a double dipped corn dog after every ride. I would have been like, corn dog me, baby.
They're like, please stop.
Corn dog me. Yeah, okay. Just went on hyperspace mountain.
That's funny.
Corn dog me.
So so that was yours. Was Disneyland?
It was Disneyland.
That's fun.
Had a great time.
That is awesome.
Really
loved it.
Had a great time and also a very enlightening time.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it was cool though because like all the people were out. You know, sometimes you go to Disneyland on an off day and it's like we got all the characters.
Oh yeah, baby.
We got all the musicians.
Yeah, baby.
The piano player, the quartet. The whole Jimmy
We got
jamming.
the whole show.
Yeah, we didn't go on the train though. I do like the train.
I've never been on the train.
Yeah. So that's great.
That's heartbreaking. Now that I know I've missed out on the train, what a nightmare! Oh my god!
I'm glad we got to go though, and I'm glad you had a good time.
I did. I had a great time. It almost made up for the really weird Make-A-Wish that I had.
Yeah, almost.
We'll get there. Almost.
Next time. The other creepy thing about the park though that I only know because my mom used to be high up there.
We understand.
They, like how there's a writer strike going on right now.
Sure.
So Disney is so evil, but well planned and maintained.
Corporate conglomerate.
But to the point where it's like they thought it all out.
Sure.
So if these little and I'm sure these happy-go-lucky Disneyland workers have no clue that this is in place.
I love that.
But if they decide to go on strike, there's an executive or someone that works in the other building that can do all of the jobs and run all of the rides so it won't shut down.
I love that.
So my mom was trained to drive the tram to and from the
just
parking lot.
Just in case they were like, hey, if anyone...
Oh, we're going on strike today. Cool. Done. Everyone put your pencils down.
You're worthless.
Space Mountain is still open. Tram is still going.
That's insane. They're like, yeah, we already know.
Bob Iger is singing Zippity Doodah and running the Splash Mountain folks.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and
they're like,
horrible.
The high-end person's making beignets in the corner, honey.
Yeah.
You are replaceable.
Yeah, exactly.
Disneyland will not stop.
Yeah.
It won't stop for nothing. I love that.
That was great.
I am a little upset that you didn't ask me to marry you in front of the castle.
Oh my gosh, I wanted to do that so bad because because like Disneyland also is so in control of their image that like if they catch you doing things, they'll stop. Like there's this statue of Walt and he's holding Mickey Mouse's hand.
Sure.
And if you look at it from an angle, Mickey Mouse's nose looks like his wiener. And
you should hold on. They're standing side by side.
They're standing side by side, and if you go to a certain angle and you take a picture, Mickey Mouse's nose is coming out right by Walt's crotch, and it looks like his wiener.
Walt Disney has a bone.
Yeah, so if you take a picture of that and they catch you, they'll like ask you to delete it.
That's hilarious.
Like North Korea. And there's other things. For instance, my friend, she's a Disney person. Her mom was a Disney person. Her mom died. She wanted to spread some of her ashes there.
I feel like that's inappropriate. Yeah.
Well, she's just going to put it in the castle water. I mean, it's fine.
Bull.
Yeah. Anyways.
It's human remains.
You can't do that, apparently. But you can smoke a cigarette, but you can't do that.
There's no smoking.
Yes, there is. I know where it is. But anyway,
but
there's
a
smoking area. But anyways,
smoking area and human remains throwing.
You should be able to put the human ashes in the ashtray at least.
Look, if you want to put your dead mom in the ashtray at Disneyland, I feel like should be able to do that.
You just bring your mom's ashes in a ibuprofen bottle.
Please
and you
don't
get in.
do this.
Anyways, but the other thing that's insane is like if you propose in front of the castle or something,
because apparently it happens all the time.
Oh yeah, of course. But But it's so funny that there's people that their job is literally to like make it not happen,
to like move them out of the way.
There's a whole TikToks based on it where it's like the guy's going to like tie his shoe and some guy runs in, it's like up you know, like
no yeah. This is for the children, it's not for you.
So I wanted to propose just to get that
just to
going.
Get that like
up no not here not your yeah. With this podcast and some other stuff and some life stuff, we got a lot going on, but it's good because we're finally cooking.
We're cooking.
Things are happening.
We use grease.
Well, what happens is when that happens, sometimes it's like, you know, it's all or nothing, and it's like I get these plates spinning and you keep them going, but then you know you drop the ball on a few things.
Of course, that happens in life.
Yeah. So long story, but
the tags expire.
Yeah.
This happens.
You get arrested. You don't pay your taxes.
God, you get indicted.
You serve your time.
Yeah, it's just a thing.
And then you get out.
Hello, we all have it happen.
No, but you try and jam things together. And so we're like, oh, we're going to Chicago, blah, 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 blah. And we finally talked our landlord into like repainting the parts of our apartment that need to be repainted.
Yeah.
And so it's great. It's a little chaotic now, but it's great. But the guy like unplugged the fridge, and I have been baking bread since we went to Iceland. Like it's what inspired me to do it. And the first time when we went to Iceland, I believe we went for like our wedding anniversary. So that was 6 years ago. Our wedding anniversary just happened.
Yeah.
So 6 years ago, we go to Iceland, we fall in love with it, and we fall in love with this bread from Broad & Company, and I start baking. And so it's this whole thing. I've kept the starter alive the whole time.
You made a sourdough starter.
I made a sourdough starter from scratch. I did it from scratch. Just me putting flour and water together, mixing it, having it grow. This is before people got into this because of COVID or anything else.
It's been 5 years. 6 years.
Yeah,
almost.
6 years I've kept this guy alive. It's matured. Everything's been great. I've been baking with it, and then all of a sudden, I come home and I open it, and it's covered in mold.
Which, if you don't know, is like dead. Your starter's dead. You can't come back from mold.
So I kind of freak out a little. It's because the fridge didn't go and the mold got on there, and I was like kind of in shock.
I could deal with everything else dying, but the sourdough starter that we've kept alive, it's like a small child.
Yeah, it has a name. Her name is Frigg. Yeah, I have a whole thing.
Yeah.
I've given her to many people.
You've given her life. She's like a Tamagotchi that he's kept alive for 5 years.
Yeah, so I try and like I'm freaking out, but I try and like salvage what I can under the mold. I do it. Happen. 2 days later, it's just back. I Google it. They're like, if mold is in there, mold is in there.
Or start over. And you're like, what?
So I tell you about it, and I'm devastated about it. And it's like, we're both kind of have a, like, you should have fed her. Well, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter because the
fridge was unplugged. Screw that guy. I'm going to sue the landlord. My starter's dead.
How do you sue about a starter?
We're panicking. And the one thing I will say, it's like, you just we'll figure it out. Luckily, during COVID, 1 million people asked me for starter.
Yeah, they did.
So I gave it out to 1 million people, and 99,000 million of them gave up. But one person's sister-in-law kept going.
This is so beautiful. You gave it to one person
who gave it
to his sister-in-law.
Yeah.
And she's
still going. And so literally I'm like freaking out because it's gone. Like I don't have a backup.
You've texted a bunch of people.
Now I've texted my friends. They're like, we gave up on that. And like luckily for me, it's like you can't kill it, but if it gets mold, you're screwed.
Yeah,
but you can dehydrate.
Done.
I've learned my lesson now. I didn't have an insurance policy. I didn't have a backup. I didn't have a dehydrated one. So I'm literally like, all my hard work, everything, it's gone. We're both crying.
Yeah.
Because we're just like, dude, that was our thing.
That was our little guy.
Yeah. And then I text my friend, Taylor Hughes, who's an amazing comedian and magician.
Love it.
And he does some magic by going, I think my sister-in-law has some, and she has it.
I can't
and Frigg is alive, and we're going to be reunited soon.
And so you can just take a little piece of that
So
off.
I just take it back. It's still her, because basically you just separate off parts of it and you give it out, and then as long as they keep it alive, it's alive. So I will now throw old moldy Frigg away. We basically rewinded, and I just refeed it, and we're back, baby.
See?
But it's crazy.
The miracle of Frigg.
It's the miracle of life, and the miracle of like for me, the lesson I took from it is like, learn from your lessons.
Yeah. Always have a backup.
Sure. And just like, it's not the end of the world. We'll figure it out. You know? And we do. And we did.
But like you diversified her and then she came back
but
to
I'm
you.
fondue of the fact that like, even the people that I texted, like, they're like, oh no. Like, that was their response.
No,
like,
they
knew
that there was like.
It's like, I lost my dog. Have you seen it? It's like,
my dog has mold on it.
yeah. It's not coming back. But anyways, so my fondue is that it seemed awful.
It was a heartbreak.
But the magic is there.
I love it.
Frigg's coming back. So that's it. It was a quick one.
I'm so happy about it too. That like, because again, we both were like emotional about it.
We almost got divorced over it.
It was a whole thing. We were like, is this the end of our marriage?
It's sign.
This is a sign. It's a sign.
But
no, it was a true devastation. And then literally it was like, she's alive. She's weak, but she's alive.
Yeah. I'm like, here's the picture. Thank you, Karen.
It makes
sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law. So anyways, great job for keeping that alive for years on your end.
Yes.
I love that. Do you want a melting pot?
Let's melting pot, baby.
Oh, baby. Look, we're just gonna see a few little things. Boo, 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 dee, dee, dee.
Boo, 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 boo.
What's the dumbest thing we pay for on the reg? I have a serious platform that I'm angry about.
Whoa.
Okay. One.
Yeah.
This is a female thing, but I truly get violently upset with the pink tax on tampons and how, like, again, I have to buy these things. Why is it so expensive? Why? I mean, or are they trash? I would love an opportunity to not have to like buy them consistently and aggressively.
Well,
and
you have to buy food. I
know, but like female products are they really are. The markup on them is like insane, and that's exhausting to me because it truly feels like a medical thing. Like it feels like something that medically I go through this every month, so that's exhausting.
Yeah.
That aside, trash bags are such a load of bullshit. They really are. Like they're so expensive. Then we have all these like stretchy just so you don't like burden your life with breaking everything. They're so expensive and you're just buying trash. When you think about it, you're just buying trash. You're like, I'm just buying this to throw it away. Feels like the most ridiculous thing ever. Sure. I don't know why, but like it's infuriating to me because it's fairly expensive.
Yeah.
They are still like, we went the other day to get like gallon trash bags and they were like $17.97 and I was like, for trash?
Yeah.
I'm just buying trash.
Yeah.
That's my stance.
Wow.
I hate it.
Wow.
I get so angry about it. I don't know how to make it any less, but it shouldn't be so expensive to buy trash. It really shouldn't be.
Yeah. All right. There you go.
I'm standing strong on that. I think it's bullshit. And I don't know how to fix it either.
See, this is a hard one for me because I don't really know, because it's like I can justify a lot of this BS in my head, but then also it's like, but then there's a lot of things that I don't feel I should pay for. I shouldn't pay for education. If I want to get smarter, I should be able to get smarter because that's going to add back to this
your
country,
society, and you're going to tax me on it later.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think I should have to pay for water. Like that's really weird.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Because they're just like they're stealing it from the lake's meat. It's not like someone's making the water.
No.
I should be able to go off grid if I want to. Like if I want to throw solar panels on, I should just be able to.
If I want to not exist in this government, if I want to be a straw man, I should be able to not exist in this government.
But there's
I didn't ask to be born.
Exactly. There's a lot of rules that's weird that you shouldn't pay for. And like, technically, I mean, there's a whole conspiracy theory about the minute you're born, they basically like
monetize you.
Exactly. But
that being said, trash bags are still bullshit.
But it's like being made. Like you could just use a bin and not put a trash bag in there if you don't want to.
Let's all talk.
No, I know that's disgusting, but you could do it.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to think of like the real stupidest one, like poop bags. That for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that's
because
like,
we live in a city. We have to gather the poop bags.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm paying money to pick up my dog's poop because I don't even pick up my own poop. So it's like I got to pick up this demon's poop. Yeah, I don't know. There's the dumbest thing.
I still think it's trash bags.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why I have the real anger about it, but I do.
I mean, I don't pay for this crap, but I think the dumbest thing that some people pay for is to be verified on social media.
Oh, that's a real that's real.
That's my thing now is like, I was mad when I was never verified because it's like, people around me are verified for doing less. And I'm like, I feel like I should be verified.
Sure. Okay.
And they were like, nah. And then now all these people are verified, but everyone knows that anyone verified is like paying for it.
That was my favorite, like 3 days there where people were trying to justify that they hadn't paid for it. They were like, oh my God, I don't know how this happened. And you're like, you paid for it. And that's okay.
What's killing me is that like, there's people that comment on my stuff still that are like actively verified still.
Yeah.
But they're not.
They're paying for it.
Yeah. And you're like, what are you doing?
Well,
like,
again, because everyone knew it was kind of like, which is such a funny thing of society where it's like everyone was like, hey, we've all decided that this is violently uncool if you pay to be verified on social media.
Yeah.
And then all these people genuinely were paying to be verified, and they were like, I don't even know how this happened, but I guess I'm still verified. I don't know how that happened. And I'm like, I do.
Yeah.
You paid for it.
And they're still paying for it. It's like the guy walking around with the Livestrong bracelet still. It's like, he's not a good guy. It's not good. Why are you wearing it? It's not 2005. You know?
I love that. Yeah, that is true. You're right. That's a really good one. That's the dumbest thing they paid for on the reg.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, someone said, oh, this is sweet because we just
in healthcare, I don't think you should have to pay for that.
That's a fact, baby boo.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
We celebrated 6 years.
We went to a bunch of flea markets and antique stores.
God, I love it.
And
we are
took
76
some pictures
years old.
and had a good time. Made some laughs.
Breakfast burrito?
We drove out to Malibu and we checked out the water, and it was very nice. It was a very nice time.
It was a real soft day. It was very nice.
We focused on ourselves.
Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yes.
Someone said, what would you say is the reason your marriage has been as wonderful as it is? Ooh, that's heavy to get into.
Well, it was Frigg, and now she's dead. It's over.
We had a sourdough starter, and we thought as long as that kept living, we should just continue on.
To be honest with you, and I said this early on in the podcast about compound love, the idea of marriage scared me because of all those curmudgeons who are apparently living this. The minute you get married, you can say goodbye to your sex life, and I have not experienced that. I mean, we're still doing it just like when we were dating, so I don't think like that's no. But that's the thing is like. It's all a choice.
It is all a choice. I think that's life will harden you. Like life can harden you of things. And like, I've said this a lot where it's like, life has been hard, but like you have always been easy.
Yeah.
You have always, but I know that you've intentionally chosen to like be kind when we could be irritated, you've chosen to be kind. Yeah. When we could be like upset, we've chosen to be compassionate to each other.
We've had a hard 3 years because of basically you getting backstabbed, and then right after that, like you were at the height, you get backstabbed, and then we go into COVID and everything locks down. You lose pretty much all of the momentum you had built, all of the confidence ripped out. It's traumatic as hell. But like, it was really hard.
You were never a difficult part of that. Well, like that was what was
it could be because I do choose to live life with everything as a choice and live in that idea. So it's like, I really thought out, like, why is this happening? Why? Like, it could be easy for me to be like, hey, stop feeling bad for yourself and get out there. Or like, hey, I know they say COVID's real, but get out there. You know, there's so many people that did stuff like that. But I understood the choice I made. I understood like the reality of the situation. And so it's like, you have to be supportive. Like,
it's weird mind reading things. I think
that's the thing is like,
simplify it. It's like, we communicate constantly. We have really hard conversations sometimes that like aren't the most comfortable conversations to have, but we have them.
From day one, you and I, something came up and we were having one of those adult conversations about it. And I could tell that like in both of our past relationships, they were fairly toxic. And sometimes you'd have to like mask, or you couldn't say things because it would blow up. And then we both agreed like, hey, let's just be like 100% honest with each other 24 hours a day, all the time, even if it's going to be like awkward.
And hurt feelings sometimes.
Because in my mind, I was like, because give me a chance. Like, I don't want this to be like 30 years down the line and then you have some weird thing that I never even knew existed because you didn't tell me and vice versa. So like, tell me now so I can either work on it or tell you like, oh yeah,
that's something I'm not capable of doing.
Yeah. Like, you know, and so for us, we've always been super open, super candid. super understanding of each other, and you are my best friend. And also, it's like, what is the point in getting married if you're not going to double down on it? So if both people can go 100% and you can trust the other person's going to be there, it'll work. Like, sure, there's sometimes like you're making more money than me, and then there's sometimes I'm making more money than you. And sometimes it's like, man, I really wish she was making more money selling foot pictures. Why can't I get her to do it?
Hey, we've all talked about why I'm not selling my feet pictures.
I'm just kidding.
Because I just don't think it'll be lucrative enough, honestly. It's a lot of work.
It's an oversaturated market.
It's such an oversaturated market at this point.
But you're losing the big picture if you're focusing on those like micro things. It's like the relationship is still good. It's still solid.
Still
and I think that's the problem, is a lot of my friends that do get into ruts, or they get into whatever, is they let themselves both drift apart and no one tries to check in.
And then they like focus on the minutia and like get really into it. I will say
it's really easy to build up like
it totally is.
Fake narratives on whatever. Not us, but I've just seen it happen.
I've seen it happen a lot.
And it's like, well, they must be doing, and then it's like you're filling in all of these thoughts for them.
Well, and weird things of like, well, he doesn't even do this, and you're like, have you told him that you want him to do that? Because that's a totally different story. If you have and it doesn't work, then
if you told him 100 times, hey, stop getting drunk and like kicking something, and he does it every time, well,
that's a different story.
He's obviously not respecting you.
But we've had that conversation. We've had like, I don't know, we've chosen together to be like, hey, this is what we've committed to in this relationship. I know every marriage is different, but what we've committed in this relationship is like, we are it for each other for the rest of our lives, which means that like, you only get this life. I only get this life. And I want it to be like, at the end of the day, I want to be the sunshine in your life. I want to be the stars in your sky. I want to be the person that like, at the end of the day, you look to and you go, she's given me nothing but kindness, warmth, and like, and honestly, everything I've wanted in a partner. So if there is something that you want in a partner, please, by all means, tell me. I'll work on it, you know?
Find it. And also like, for me, it was like upfront. I dated people in the past that like, they'd go to tell a story, and in my head, I'd be like, this is not going to go well. They don't tell a story well. This is so bad. And I'm looking in the audience is like, oh, and for me, that is important. Like,
that's storytelling is very important.
Being funny, being able to keep a story, being able to captivate an audience. Like, those are things I'm attracted to. Comedy. I am attracted to funny girls. I think it works because we're very compatible, and we know that. And we've grown together, and we have agreements on the life that we want. We have a similar vision for our future.
Yeah, and we keep
we support each other.
Vision,
we make each other. We put each other up. We put each other first. Like in improv, you always want a supportive backline. So we support each other. When you go, you never do things that I'm not like. Whatever you do, I know you're going to be good at or successful at. Like. I kind of become that like really creepy band teacher now. Like when we were in jazz band, like the teacher would conduct, and then he'd like stop conducting and go stand on the sidewall and like watch us. Like
that's weird.
Like but like look what I created.
That's
and then
so
he'd come
weird.
back. So, but it's like for you, we could be at a party and I don't have to just be next to you. Like you can go off and I'll like see you from across the room and people are just like laughing at you, and it's just like you make me proud to be next to you. You make me look better. You make me
very nice, Cheese.
Yeah, you make me a better person. You make me happier. You fulfill so many things that I never even thought would happen. I never thought I was going to get married. It was never on my radar.
Wasn't on my radar at all.
You know. But because of my pragmaticness and your romanticness, and it came together, and also like we both are invested in it 100%.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is that we both have 100% agreed. And again, there's been days where like where honestly, like because of life circumstances, I'll have like 20% to give and you'll come in with 80, and it's like,
and vice versa.
Again, as long as it's 100% effort on every level.
Yeah, or just having the benefit of the doubt. Like if you come home and stuff isn't going the way I want or something, I'll say like, hey, this is what's on my mind, this and this and this, and you'll be like, I hear you.
Yeah.
And then you'll do it or you won't. But like we communicate. We keep the dialogue open. We don't keep secrets from each other. And I, again, with improv, I play you to the highest of your intelligence.
Yeah, that's true.
And I understand, and I give you the benefit of the doubt, and I know that you're gonna do the same to me.
Yeah.
And so it's an agreement.
Also, we laugh a lot.
We laugh. That helps. But for us, some people don't. Like my ex would literally be like, I would be on it, killing it.
Yeah.
She wouldn't laugh once, and she would be like, I think you need to date someone funny.
Well, it worked out.
It worked out.
She
is alone still.
Okay.
And she gave up on acting. Anyways, our marriage works because we've thought about it a lot, and we both agreed to go in 100%.
I'm just here
and
for
if
the
you
ride,
go in
baby.
100% on everything,
Okay.
my dad used to say,
okay,
if you love something enough, you will figure out how to be successful with it. So,
hey, that's really good though, actually.
Yeah. So I love you so much that this is a success.
Hey, look at that. Well, do you think we should end there?
Well, if you got one more, like a quick zinger.
Quick zinger. Are you ready?
Yeah.
You might have to go quick with it.
Okay.
If you could speak in any accent for the rest of your life, what would it be? You've said this. I'm going to answer it for you, and I'm sorry.
Hello?
You You desperately want to be British. You've said this a million times.
I mean, it's just not fair. Like a real British one, not like a fake one. But like even
you want to be like. Can I hear a little bit? Like maybe.
Well, I don't know which one I would do.
Any of them, really?
Oh, I'm not very good at them. That's the other hard thing.
Okay, here's my question. What kind of are you gonna want to be like? Hello, I didn't know. That's so crazy. You're gonna be like Tom Holland, or are you gonna be like?
I don't know. Well, that's the problem because like my friend Erwin, who I love, he is from Reading, and he also has like a very high pitched voice. So when I'm doing like his accent, I just become him.
Yeah,
you know.
That's
so
right.
I'm like, oh, literally, I've no. But it's like I wouldn't talk like that. I would talk down here.
Yeah.
So it's like I literally wouldn't like. But that's like much lower. But it's like I don't know what I would do. And also I'm adding all the dialects because I don't have a specific. But even yesterday we were somewhere and some guy's like he was doing that like very. He
was very posh.
Was he posh?
Yeah.
Well, the guy at the flea market wasn't posh. He was like,
oh, you didn't want to come over here, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, we didn't know.
No, I don't think I want that. I don't want the Liverpool accent.
Yeah, great.
But I think like just like standard British, like it's just always so cool. Well, not standard, but like from London, that area, or Hammersmith, like. Whenever I've met someone with that accent, it's just like, you guys are just so cool.
You could say whatever you want. You could be like,
just like,
I collect cans for a living. And you're like, oh.
Like, I don't want the history of the English people, but that accent. I also love a French accent.
Can we hear that?
I mean, you can watch Most Popular Girls in School.
Let's hear what you're...
Literally, what is your name?
I think
your
maybe
name
British. Oh my God. I think British is the way to go.
I think it would be less of like an accent.
You'd look so pretentious as a Frenchman.
Oh my gosh, it'd be so good.
It'd be
like,
the dream.
Oh no,
le cheese.
I think that it would be less of like if I could have the accent and more if like I could be from somewhere else. Like my weird thing is like I've always felt that being American is. And the older I get, the more I realize that it is a blessing. But when I was young, it's like, I can't speak for this country. I literally was born in California. I was raised in California, and I've pretty much only lived long term in California. I've traveled a lot. I've spent a lot of time, but it's like, I am not America. I am Southern California.
Yeah, that's a different vibe.
And that is a different vibe. And so like what I know and my culture is awesome. I'm proud to be Californian.
Yeah.
But American, it's like, I don't know. Like the things that are coming up right now, it's like, I don't even know.
How?
Like when people are like, do you know these people? I'm like, I don't even know these people.
I don't know one person that thinks that way.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a huge country. And we have done a lot of stuff that I don't love. Like, I don't like being. I've never been in a fight personally as a human. Our country's constantly the world police. They're constantly like, we got to keep everyone in line, and it's like I like being unique, and I don't want to be. I don't like. in America, it's like you got to be number one or it's nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, in other countries, it's like, hey, don't stand, like, let's all kind of look out for each other. Log on, you know, like, or in Japan, you know, it's like, so for me, it's like, I'd like to be from one of those weird, interesting countries that it's like, oh, Luxembourg, huh?
But if that's you were going to speak in an accent.
If I was going to speak English in an accent.
Yeah.
I'd love to be British, probably not Australian. That one's
no, I can't even do Australian to save my life. That's mine. It's great.
I don't even know.
Okay, all right.
Down under.
Mine's British as well. But I don't think. I think
Definitely
unfortunately, I'd probably have to like no. And because it's just not funny enough.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's hilarious.
I'm going to have to go like Liverpool, though. Or I'm going to have to be like, oh, I didn't know.
Irish would be cool.
Or like, I'm going to be one of those
Irish
like.
would be nice.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I should be Irish.
Yeah. Because that's, that's where you're from already.
Yeah. I already it's like, blended.
They don't have that whole. Or Scottish would be nice. But not thick Scottish, but like the lilt one where you're like, whoa. Because I don't want the English history. Scotland and Ireland, they like. Girl, they just got screwed up.
No one's asking you about that.
Well, that comes with the accent.
Okay. It's British, guys.
It's
Thank you so much for watching
Scottish. I already played the bagpipes. Delman's going to say
his favorite cheese in French, which is...
Le Brie.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so
much.
Stay
stinky. We love you.
Stay stinky.
Yeah. Why does it sound like a pirate?